Hi, Dr. David here. Another book I want to talk about is titled Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker. Brilliant scientist. He's British as a neuroscientist, and he talks a lot about sleep and the importance of sleep. And he and his research team have uncovered a lot of important things that have to do with sleep. As you know, my dementia's dirty dozen, insomnia is one of the 12. I'll start with the letter I. Is one of the 12, shall we say, pathways to dementia. So this is of particular interest to me. I've dived into this book. I've really kind of like really dog-eared the pages and all that. And bottom line, he's really coming up with some interesting things. Like, for instance, he talks about how amyloid plaques form when you're sleep deprived, and so and it could accumulate over a period of time. It talks about how you may be not be able to even form or consolidate memories if you're sleep deprived. It talks about even in the immune system going awry. It talks about you not being able to build muscle if you're if even if you miss sleep, you miss like an hour of sleep. So he recommends 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. I know some people will laugh at that, especially those of young parents with young children. Probably they sleep a lot less than that. Um, and I'll get to that point in a minute. But he says if yes, they have proven that if you have the average person has only 6 hours, that's they lost 1 hour of the ideal. If they only sleep for 6 hours a night, that they can already begin to show signs, that they can already see these signs on tests and X-rays and MRI scans and whatever it is, whatever they look at, to show that the brain has been adversely affected. Just 1 hour less, just 1 hour less of sleep can already show adverse results. So it's very important that we understand that we prioritize sleep. And it's not just general sleep, just for the quantity of sleep of 7 to 8 hours. It's also the quality of sleep. So your brain goes through about four different years, or so to speak, types of sleep based on the brain waves. So you've got the light sleep, then you've got the REM sleep, you've got the deep sleep, and then there's another one again. I think that one is two phases. Anyway, your brain cycles through these different stages or phases like 5 or 6 times a night. But the most important that they're saying are two: the REM sleep and the deep sleep, where the repair process, the repair and the cleansing of the brain happens. And those that deep sleep, also the REM sleep, but deep sleep more so. That's the part that is affected the most if you're not having the good quality sleep, and therefore you're not cleansing. Again, back to the amyloid plaques and other toxins in the brain. You're not going to be able to cleanse them as you should, and then memory consolidation will not occur like it should. So very, very, very important that we consider that we make sleep a priority. I always recommend using a sleep mask. I think I have one here. So you got this sleep mask, right? I put it on my eyes every night. I try to, and that helps with the quality of my sleep. I also take melatonin. It's very safe. We even use it on kids in our foundation, and the results have been very, very, very good. I take about 30 grams of melatonin, grams of milligrams. So let me check. Um, Milligrams, 30 milligrams of melatonin. That's so some would consider that very high, but trust me, this is I mean, it all depends on who on the individual. I have a lot of muscle weight. I'm close to 200 pounds. Although people don't believe when they see me, a lot of it is muscle and bone mass and bone weight. Um, so I found out that 30 milligrams is the sweet spot. When I've gone to four tablets, 40 milligrams, I find it myself a little bit more groggy when I wake up. Two tablets don't do it. So some people are okay with just 10 milligrams. Some are okay with just 3 milligrams, 5 milligrams. Melatonin is really safe. So it's something you can experiment with, but make sure you discuss it with your doctor first before doing that. Again, this is Why We Sleep called, written by Dr. Matthew Walker. Yes, I remember I was going to say this before I end this talk on this particular topic. Those people who are not enjoying enough sleep for whatever reason, whether you're at the war front, you're dealing with a very young kid who is always waking you up at night, you need to take proactive action and to compensate for that lack of sleep. Now, you can't do it compensate completely, but you can mitigate the harmful effects of this sleep deprivation. One of them is taking melatonin when you go to sleep. Another one is maybe taking extra omega-3s, extra vitamin D. You will note that I always mention these two because these are among the greatest protectors of the brain. I also recommend for most of us, we don't really have access in third world countries like Nigeria. We don't have access to really hormone specialists who can test your hormones and then titrate the hormone replacement. Yes, men need hormone replacement as well, as women do. Women more so because of menopause. Estradiol, which is a form of estrogen, the most powerful form of estrogen, is also one of the most powerful protectors of the brain. And we know women going through menopause have much lower estrogen than they used to. There's a significant drop, and that this affects their sleep as well. And so, women generally don't sleep as well as men do. Women tend to have a hard time sleeping before or after menopause. So I strongly recommend that you take, in addition to your omega-3s, vitamin D, that you go see your doctor about improving your estrogen levels, or, and this is what we do because we don't have that option. I prescribe supplements that contain DHEA. That basically these help the body make its own estrogen, make its own progesterone and testosterone in the right balance. Now, this is not the same as treating. This is basically enhancing, improving your body's physiology so your body can rebalance itself or fix its own problems. Hormonal health is vital to brain health. And so I never want to leave that unaddressed. And so it's very important that you do something about your hormonal health, but also you want to do something about your sleep health. And these two are connected. One more thing before I end. If you're having trouble sleeping, if it's a chronic problem that you're almost never sleeping like you should, there is something awry going on in your brain. And I'm not saying you're mental, I'm not saying you have an issue, I'm not saying you're imbalanced, but for sure, there's something that has gone awry in your brain, because your brain is what controls sleep. And if your brain is not controlling sleep, then your brain is something that is preventing your brain from controlling sleep like it should, or from regulating sleep like it should. And so I would recommend you take that very, very seriously. And you want to do it right away, because as the decades pass, that problem begins to compound and pile upon itself and pile upon itself. So it's very important that you have good sleep. I hope I've not overflogged this point, but it's just important that we pass along this information. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below, or send us an email or DM or whatever. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.